Hello, my little lions. This is Rara, and today I'm still roaring about Korea and the 4B movement. By now, I hope you've started researching those safe haven sanctuaries that we talked about in Series 1 and 2 that they now call religious temples. The truth is, these were not religious temples, although they were made in respect to Christianity. Hence the mother-child correlation of Christianity and these safe havens. However, these sanctuaries were safe havens for femmes only and had protective walls and gates to prevent the unwanted from entering. Unwanted as in penis holders, the phalluses, the phalluses. They were fortress sanctuaries where 30 to 60,000 sisters lived and thrived without unnatural deaths happening 24/7. So, when researching information about your stolen and buried history, because of jealousy, the foe will change many things when giving details about a legacy they were shut out of. Okay? They're going to lie about it because it didn't have nothing to do with them. Also, remember that changing the true reality of one thing into something that they want you to believe is an easy way to get you to accept what they say simply based on the fact that there are hints of truth engulfed in falsehoods. So please learn to read between the lines and combat this by searching information about keywords. Words that you have never heard of, words that strike a chord within or that make you go humph. This is how I found the truth of what I was searching for. If you have been inquiring into the matriarchs, the celestial kings and devatas adorning those walls, then you have found info about the kings that built them. These kings crafted and carved approximately 3,000 statues of femmes into the stone walls. But there are no boys found in any of these 3,000 statues except for the kings. So let's talk about the deceit they have perpetrated in telling you that the king is a dude. These are some tricky bastards. So let's jump into this. So here I am using info found easily on Google simply because this is a site that most people use. Here it says that King Suri of Armen II built Angkor, the largest haven in the world, and it says that King of Armen was the greatest ruler of the Comorian Empire. Here, this is a stone depiction of King of Armen carved into the walls of the sanctuary. Here you see them fanning King of Armen. You see he has anklets and bracelets and armlets, and you also see an X across the chest. Now, King of Armen is wearing what looks like a frock, a skirt. You see this with the swoops on the left side. So this is a skirt. Now, King of Armen is supposed to be a dude. And better than that, he's supposed to be the king who carved approximately 3,000 statues of devatas into the walls of the sanctuary. Now, none of these statues are the same. They all are different in some aspect. Here you see these two devatas. One is wearing a crown and one is not. These devatas are wearing skirts, and they also have the sashes on each side, exactly as King of Armen. See the sashes on the right and on the left. When we view it a little closer, you can see that inlaid in this stone carving are stars, looks like flowers, into the skirts themselves. And there are also detailed decorations in the sash on either side of the skirts. You can also see that these sisters are highlighting the area between the navel and the road of enlightenment. I believe that this is a signal or symbolic of conception, as the sister on the left is holding a tree branch, which means tree of life. You can also see that in their right hands, in the area below the navel, there was something there, but the Dicks chopped it off, as they're known to do. So there's something that was in their hands, in both of their hands, in the area below the navel, that could have been a flower or something that is a symbol of the tree of life. And here you see King of Armen with the skirt, the sashes on either side, and the front of the garment draped between her legs. Yes, I said her, because this isn't a dude, and this is what I am proving to you now. In this next frame, we see a dancer. She is wearing a frock that has the decorations around the waist. Looks like some type of tassel or maybe flowers. And then you can see the sash on the left hand side. Also, you can see around her breast is that X mark between the breasts, from the top of the breast down between the breasts to the area right below the rib cage. And here we see, as compared with King of Armen, she is also seen with the X mark on her chest between what used to be breast. As you can see that the right hand side has a nipple and the left hand side does not. This is a indication that the witches have shaved the breast down to make it look flat like a dude. Here is another diva carved into the stone walls of this sanctuary, and she also, like the other divas, they're wearing the same frock, except her sash is a little bigger on the right side than it is on the left. She is holding the sash on the left hand side, and if you look in her right hand, you will see she's also holding a flower. Here we have three magnificent, amazing carvings of divas. They are currently in the process of being whitened so that they have a ghastly, ghostly appearance. However, you can still see the hue that hasn't yet been whitened. And when you compare these three kings with King of Armin, you see that the frock is the same. It's just in a slightly different style, as all of the carvings differ slightly in some way. No single carving is the same. Here we have another magnificent king high on the wall on an altar, as you can see. And there she is in the signature skirt. And she also has that X mark on her, across her breast. As you can see, the skirts on all of these sisters differ slightly. However, two are kings, two wear crowns, and two do not. Here is another depiction of King of Armin, and this one has been altered also. However, the face does not look as hard as in the first depiction of King of Armin that I showed. As you can see, she's wearing earrings. Although she's not wearing a crown, they say that this is King of Armin. So, King of Armin is clearly a femme. She's clearly a sister. Because no dude is going to be wearing a skirt, an X mark, or sitting with banglets, wristlets, anklets, armlets. That where do kings do that if kings are boys? I mean, like, you don't have a boy pose? You know how boys pose, looking mean and hard, and their legs open, their arms crossed, muscles bulging all over the place, abs and the whole nine, with his crown and his pants, especially some damn pants. You won't see that in Angkor Wat. Angkor Wat only has sisters. And I specify sisters because back then, Whitey was not in our societies because she was the king and she didn't tolerate a Homo sapien. Here we see the traditional Comorian skirt, and you see the one on the top right, it has the sashes that you see on King of Armin's skirt. So let's be clear. King of Armin is not a dude. King of Armin is a sister. No dude is going to build a sanctuary for sisters only and spend trillions of dollars to carve only sisters into those stone walls and not a single carving of himself. No dude's going to do that, and especially not 1,000 years, 2,000 years, 5,000 years, 10,000 years before. If you were always the slave, always on the bottom, some damn animal that they found in the jungle, who would spend so much money on building a safe haven carved with nothing except sisters? Not a boy, not a Homo sapien, nothing white and dead, nothing. It's all life, and it was all carved by sisters. If kings were dudes back then, why aren't they posed up like this? You can make 3,000 statues of sisters, but you can't make one of a dude in a dude pose, in his dude pants, with his muscles popping and shining, and a crown. How come we're not seeing not even a single dude? This is what a dude looks like. This is what a dude looks like. And dudes today are the same dudes back then. But they weren't the kings of anything back then. They're the kings now. But they weren't the kings back then. And this is what you won't see carved anywhere in a Comorian temple. You won't. Those safe havens were made, constructed, designed, all by sisters. So let's take a look. Here is Angkor. Can you imagine the size of this? This is what the aerial view shows us. The size of Angkor. Angkor extends across 402 acres of land. 402 acres of land. It is surrounded by a moat, and the moat is 3.1 miles long. What is the purpose of a moat? Let's take a look. What is the purpose of a moat? A moat is a deep, broad ditch dug around a castle, fortification, building, or town, historically to provide it with a preliminary line of defense. So this is the first line of defense to accessing Angkor. Angkor is surrounded by an outer wall 3,360 feet by 2,631 feet and is 15 feet high. It is encircled by 98 feet of flat ground, and the moat, which is 620 feet wide over 3.1 miles in length, in perimeter. Moving forward, I certainly hope that we sisters can take pride in the achievements of our matriarchs in constructing sanctuary cities for us. Today, Homo sapiens have sanctuary cities and towns, and we have nothing. We are laid bare at the hands of the Y chromosomes and the Homo sapiens. Our sanctuary cities are our eternal and earthly inheritance. And this inheritance has been stolen and turned into a tourist business for these Homo sapiens. the 60,000 sisters that resided in Angkor Wat have disappeared into thin air, and usually that means someone has disappeared into the gut of a thing. Otherwise, you would still find remnants of those sisters there in Korea. The only ones in those sanctuary cities of ours are homosapic Y chromosomes. That is it. Of course, and also what they classify as apes today and dogs. This is what you'll find in the sanctuary cities our matriarchs made for us. You'll just find beasts. As such, let this be proof and all the evidence you need to move forward, unite as one, as we once were, and remake our sanctuary towns, neighborhoods, and cities for sisters and their babies. No one will do it for us because they've had plenty of time to do this, and not a single being on this earth has stepped up and said, let's make a place for you and you only where you can be safe from beatings, kidnappings, and certain death, unnatural death, slaughtered and killed like an animal. Please let this be a lesson to you that you don't need anybody. They need you. They need you to sit in their communities and suffer and die. They need you to bring that celestial energy to anything that they do. They need you to support them. They need you to stand in front of them while they stand on your back, your shoulders, your neck, and then eventually your head when it's time to die. Okay, they need you. You don't need them. So please, sisters, let's unite and handle our business once more. We don't need these people. They need us. Let's take care of business.